All right, something very practical. If you were to go into a home of a typical American family, all right, you got your two parents, you've got, well, maybe that's not a typical American family anymore, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, you've got your two parents, you've got a couple of kids, you have a dog, you have a goldfish, and you're going to go in and you're going to help them out. I know you could picture a home like that, and you want to help them with kind of a green audit. In your mind, walk through and tell us what you might help them with. How would you advise them to do better as, say, as a Christian family? You want to help them be better Christian stewards of the little piece of the environment God has entrusted to them.
Well, the Edison and the electric company's been doing that for some time in terms of the energy audit. You know, if you consume less, you need to generate less, and so on. So just the practical things in the house.
Now you're a guy to really speak to this. You were ahead of the curve with this, with pounding solar cells or water heater gizmos to the roof of your home and riding your scooter to work. I mean, you were ahead of the curve in terms of saving energy. Or are you just cheap? We want to know.
Some combination of the two, actually. But yeah, that was one thing I saw. We installed, now I've got 6 kilowatts of solar panels on the house, and my electric bill last year for the year was about $130 or so. So it does have an economic incentive over the long haul. I mean, you can't invest that much and then move in a year. But it's looking at, again, how can I consume less? What's in this house that's wasting the energy? Better insulation, more efficient lighting. If I can be controversial, do you need the dog? Because if you look at how much money, we in the West spend on our pets and keeping them healthy and so on, compare that to the average person in the third world, you could support a lot of World Vision kids on what you're supporting your dog with.
Other ideas? I know you have a lot.
I look at it as there being 3 parts, and maybe there's a 4th part that I'll uncover as I start to say this, but there's the energy part of it, so there's the consumption part of it, and if the home exists already, then this energy type of audit is maybe the critical piece. If we're talking about adding on something new, there's embodied energy, it's been done, it's over, and it's behind us for a home that's built. If we're building something new, then we need to have this consumption or energy metric that we overlay with respect to the materials we're sourcing. Where did they come from? How were they made? Those sorts of things. But for an existing structure, it's that consumption, and you mentioned some of the major things there. Additionally, there are issues related to the quality of life at that place, so that's indoor air quality. And on top of that, I think we also want to consider things related to, maybe we would say the aesthetics, but these things relate to things like daylight, the quality of the space, how it affects the person living in that space. And that's something that I think we're right to consider as a part of this. How we balance these 3 things, consumption on the one hand, aesthetics on the other, and then in the middle, the 3rd thing that I said that I can't remember the word for right now. As we balance those things, though, we really want to work all of those together.
And somewhere in there, you'd put in the mix landscaping.
Exactly, that was
native plants, not thirsty lawns and.
Well, and I was going to go one step further and suggest that we incorporate edible landscape as well, because seriously, the tomatoes that you grow at home with one tomato plant instead of an ornamental, and have one tomato plant mixed in, or one squash plant or something. Then there's transportation energy that hasn't been consumed to truck that to the store and then to your home, and we could carry that further. So in terms of very practical suggestions, maybe add a little bit of edible landscape to your otherwise native habitat landscape that's designed to fit well the climate, so it doesn't require a lot of artificial nutrients and an inordinate amount of water. And we can look at passive energy generation at the home too. Maybe we need to think about our, we often cool our attics with the turbine fan. well, is there some way we could connect that to a small generator that might keep some appliance going for a period of time, or recharge our batteries for small things, you know, instead of pulling energy off the grid, using something that's existing.
I do want to defend, though, the intrinsic value of landscaping, just to beautify the home and to acknowledge that we live in a place. We are embodied creatures. We occupy a place. And we should have a sense that this place reflects our place in the greater creation, the beautiful world that God has made. And we ought to look at the intrinsic value of beautifying our place, totally apart from the instrumental value of being able to eat the hedge. I think there's a place for that as Christian stewards.
Absolutely, and I don't think they're mutually exclusive.
Biola University offers a variety of biblically centered degree programs, ranging from business to ministry to the arts and sciences. Visit biola.edu to find out how Biola could make a difference in your life.